Dumela Dr. Zamani Saul ke a go dumedisa. Moretsi o tsebeng tla retse mone a bule matlho a bone. Ka re mphante tlankebege mmafo. Ga re tle mono wa ga lo melamele tutetse lusisitse. Lusisitse ka kgomo ya mashele ka bule gale ka tjorta ska pula medupile ka tjorta ja ka lebala. Hela re mahukwa me a ke go rokotsega. Ke tlo go bapatsana tla di marapo a thata ke re moretsi o tsebeng tla retse mone a bule matlho a bone. Are Dr. Zamani Saul, are le tlabo tshitlo la makganelana le di ya meso. Are o ile wa ikuna wa ya maru, wa go bona se tla di se dirang. Are moroza man, are o le ruaru, ke a marumang ke go epa didiba tse di thata didiba tsa boso. Are ke le kgakgaripapo ka palwa ke go boka. Ao ke tlhokela mafu, puole mafu kwa ditebogo. Dr. Zamani Saul, ka go ntle wa ya ka lerato mo ka pabukoni o ta utuna ya ntwa o lemile khutlo tsenne tsa lefatshe go ntse fela jalo di khutsana di ipela ka wena o masimo a ba tlhokia sa setlhefaleng o no yane phatso masilano ka batana sa go sela tlhoka tsotlhe tsa melao are ke lona ba lo rapetse ke lona ba le dumetse ke lona ba le lopileng Ramasedi gore letsatsi le le goroge re tle re nne le sebaka se le metsotso tsa gore re kopane mmogo re tshwaragane ka matsogo ka dipelo le ka mewa re digele lehatshe la rona re digele botlhe mo go lona re dire ka lerato re dire ka boinelo re dire ka tshwaragano bona bokamoso jwa province bo mo magetleng a gago bokamoso jwa dikokomane tse di tla bo mo maruding a gago mme go mo go wena gore mo sebakeng se o tse tshwetso o ikane o ikaele gore wa go dira ka bonata le ka bojotlhe wa go dira le botlhe baagi le baagedi ba lehatshe la rona go emeletsa itshulelo ya rona go tshegetsa le go emeletsa seriti le serodumo sa rona go tibela molao motheo go ntse fela jalo ke kopa re dumalatsaneng gompieno baetapele ba me gore a ke thakeselle mautong a lona ka gore ke mofokodi wa lona ba ba sa nkitseng ba tsholetse matsogo ke nyena maloba ba kane ke utlwa le ntsheba le ipotsa dipotso le re mosimanyana o bokang a ke mang ke mosimanyana mo tlhaping wa maidi a kgetsele wa go tlhapa ka lebese a go ga go iphorola ya re go tsaya tlhwa ba iphorola ke beng phaloko e tshetla ya re basadi ba bola tlhwana banna ba e tshabile ke ene motlhapi ya re banna ba ya ntwe ena a sala sa mile kgarebe serope a re manoma robala se go sa ba kgarebe serope e le go oketsa motso a tlhapi a re magalapa a maatletse ke a kgaotsa ke a letsa pula pula pula
Honorable members, good morning. Good morning, honorable members. Good morning to all our guests. Honorable members, this gathering marks the official commencement of the second session of the 7th Legislature. I declare this session officially open. I also declare the sitting area for members in front and the stage of this venue as the chamber and the rest of the venue as the gallery. Can we all stand for a moment of silent prayer or meditation? Thank you very much, honorable members and guests. We can remain standing. I will allow our subs band, the police band, to lead us with the national anthem. Thank you very much to the police band. Honorable members, you may take your seat. Honorable members, all our guests, let me take this opportunity and welcome every one of you to our State of the Province address that will be delivered by our Honorable Premier, Dr. Zamani Saul. Let me start by welcoming the Honorable Premier, all members of the Executive, all leaders of the different political parties within the legislature, the leader of the official opposition, Honorable Maklua, the leader of government business, Honorable Fass, all members in the legislature. Also, let me also welcome our Honorable Chief Whip, Dr. Shushu. Also, warm welcome to all members of the NCOP and members of the National Assembly in attendance. Let me also take this opportunity, honorable members, to welcome our host, Mayor and Speaker from Saul Plaatje Municipality, as well as the Mayor and Speaker from Francis Baard Municipality. I would also like to welcome our Deputy Minister, Alvin Bottas, who's also in our presence. All members of the Diplomatic Corps, you are welcome in this sitting. Honorable members, most important, a warm welcome to all our political parties that is in attendance and all our community members from our 5 districts within our province that is also in attendance. Let me also welcome our community on the media platforms that has also joined us. Honorable members and guests, I would want to request that we switch off all our communication equipment, like our cell phones, so that there are no any interruptions whilst the Honorable Premier are presenting his speech. I would also like to call on members and invited guests not to converse out aloud or behave disorderly during the Premier's State of the Province address. Members and guests, please note that your conduct must be in line with the rules and the decorum of this House. I wish to welcome you all to this important event. Also, a word of welcome to our community members that is again listening on all our radio stations. Honorable members, and specifically to our media fraternity, I will allow the first 10 minutes of the Premier's speech for you to take photos, not after the 10 minutes. The broadcasters may also remain in attendance without any interference with the proceedings of this House. Honorable members, in terms of Rule 14.2, I received communication from the Premier that the legislature of the province of the Northern Cape be summoned to assemble in order to enable him to deliver his State of the Province address on this 6th day of March 2025. In terms of Section 110, Subsection 2 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, read with Rule 14 of the Standing Rules of the Northern Cape Provincial Legislature. No other business will be dealt with, and that only be the annual address in terms of Rule 14 will be dealt with in this sitting. Honorable members, all our guests, let me then call to the fourth the Honorable Premier to deliver his State of the Province address. Thank you, Honorable Premier Dr. Zamani Saul.
Baie dankie. Honorable Speaker, vir die geleentheid. Laat ek ook die geleentheid gebruik om my collega's in die provinsiale wetgewer te groet. Ek sien anders van hulle is getrek in rooi en paar het vergeet om in blauw aan te trek. Let me also pass my regards to our Deputy Minister for the Department of International Relations, Honorable Elvin Bottas. He always marks these events by his presence, and thank you very much for that support. The Chief Whip of the Provincial Legislature, Dr. Shushu, the Chief Whip of the National Council of Provinces, Honorable Mr. Kenny Muimang Lituna, hy sit net hiervoor. Let me also greet the layer van die oppositie, meneer Harold McLuha, the layer van die EFF, Honorable Mr. Shadrach Klaule, the layer van die Patriotic Alliance, Honorable Sharifa Banu Ferris. Ja, Banu is haar naam. En dis 'n baie mooi naam. The leader of the Freedom Front Plus, Mr. Theodoras Joubert, members of the National Assembly and National Council of Provinces who are here to honor this event. We are very grateful for your presence. Let me also greet the chairperson of the Provincial House of Traditional Leaders, Hosi Pilonomi Toto, and all the traditional leaders that are inside here. I would like to invite the House, with great respect, Speaker, to give a round of applause for the presence of our traditional leaders. Let me greet the members of the Diplomatic Corps. We've got the Consul General of the Kingdom of Netherlands, Ms. Helene Rekers, Consul General of Russia, Mr. Aleskio Malenko, the Deputy General, the Deputy Consul General of the Republic of China, Mr. Tang Chaang, and we also have the Consul General of Lesotho, our own, Ms. Connie Siopesingwe, and we also have the Consul General of the United Kingdom, Lee Collin. Can we give these members of the Diplomatic Corps a nice round of applause? And we greatly appreciate their effort to be with us here today. Let me greet the Judge President of the Northern Cape High Court, Judge Pule Tlaletsi, Heads of State Security Services, Chairperson of the South African Local Government Association, Mr. Lulama Nkumbi, all mayors and councillors, heads of state institutions supporting of our constitutional democracy, they are here and they are greeted. The Director General and heads of departments and government officials, all of whom have been invited, are here. We are very grateful of your presence. The Provincial Secretary of the ruling party, I saw is seated right here in front, Mr. Deshinglang. You are greeted and welcomed. Leaders of the Alliance and mass democratic formations, leaders of organized labor and civil society, business leaders, members of the media, distinguished guests, and my special guest for today, is the in-sourced security officials who have been invited to join us at this event. Where are they? There they are sitting. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to deliver the first State of the Province address for the 7th administration here in Kimberley, the capital city of the Northern Cape. In the heart of the city is the province's intellectual hub, the Solplaatje University. The university is named after Solomon Solplaatje, an extraordinary thinker who spent most of his life fighting for freedom and justice for our people. This morning, Honorable Speaker, I was with the MEC of Health for the official opening of the state-of-the-art and modern nurses student accommodation. Presently, 305 million rand facility is accommodating 64 students and soon will be operating in full capacity, accommodating 320 students. As you all would remember, I made a commitment in the SOPA of 2020 that work on this project would begin. The second phase of this project will cost about 500 million rand, has already begun and entails the construction of lecture rooms, computer laboratory, library, office space, simulation rooms, cafeteria, amongst others. Honorable Speaker, we present this address at a time when we are commemorating Human Rights Month under the theme, Deepening a Culture of Social Justice and Human Rights. The history of Human Rights Day is grounded in the Sharpeville massacre of 21 March 1960, where the apartheid police brutally shot and killed 69 people during a peaceful protest. This massacre exposed the apartheid government's blatant human rights violation. The commemoration of this dark chapter in the history of the country should trigger all of us into action to fight against apartheid apologists, people who desire to reincarnate the privileges and the ghost of apartheid. This year's commemorations of Human Rights Month coincides with the 70th anniversary of the adoption of the Freedom Charter. The Charter articulates a vision of a South Africa where all people, regardless of race, would have equal rights and opportunities. It declares that South Africa belongs to all who live in it, black and white. Challenging the racial foundation of apartheid, we dare not fail in the attainment of this vision. Therefore, it is in this context, Madam Speaker, that we welcome the national dialogue as announced by the President in his State of the Nation address. As part of contributing to the success of the national dialogue, as the province, we will host an all-inclusive provincial nation-building and social cohesion dialogue. Madam Speaker, 35 years ago, on 11 February, Nelson Mandela was released from prison after serving almost 3 decades behind bars. The release symbolized a significant moment in the political trajectory of South Africa within the global context. It marked the beginning of the end of apartheid and set the stage for the transition to a democratic, non-racial South Africa. This is the epithet of the freedom that we are enjoying today. Madam Speaker, over the last 30 years, there have been a number of successes as well as a number of challenges on our path to freedom and justice for our people. These include, amongst others, the economic downturn in 2008, managing a global pandemic, namely COVID-19, a surge in gender-based violence and femicide, the effects of climate change, and an exacerbation of the triple challenges of unemployment, poverty, and inequality. Madam Speaker, the 7th administration must attend to these challenges with greater urgency and vigor. The Government of National Unity identified 3 critical pillars for the next 5 years for the country, which are inclusive growth and job creation, fighting poverty by tackling the high cost of living, and building a capable, ethical, and developmental state. These pillars fit nicely with the vision that we expressed and pursued as the 6th administration of building a modern, growing, and successful province. The 7th administration will consolidate this vision and build on some achievements of the past 30 years, which are, let me briefly go through those achievements. The proportion of households with formal dwellings increased from 78.3% in 1996 to 85.9% in 2002 in the Northern Cape. The proportion of households that have access to on-site piped water increased from 74% to 82%. The proportion of households that had no access to piped water in the Northern Cape declined from 19.7% to 8.7%. The proportion of households that had access to electricity as a main source of lighting increased from 64% to 92% in 2002. All municipalities in the Northern Cape have more than 80% of their households having direct access from the main source of electricity from the grid. The proportion of households in the Northern Cape that have access to flush toilets increased from 52% to 73%. Refused removed by municipalities at least once a week increased from 60% to 67%. The internet is a vital resource to access information and to communicate with others. Households' access to the internet from anywhere in the Northern Cape increased from 16.2% to 68.5%. In terms of land redistribution, a total of 4 billion rand has been spent, which involves about 2.3 million hectares of land to about 200,000 beneficiaries. Those are the achievements that this administration has midwifed over the past 30 years. And what is important for this State of the Province address is to reflect on some of the achievements of the 6th administration, as all these constitutes the foundation for the 7th administration. The province witnessed a 35 billion rand economic growth in the past 5 years, from 117 billion in 2019 to 152 billion in 2024. So we had 5 straight years of economic growth. Last year, we recorded a 5-year cumulative expenditure of 24.7 billion on infrastructure. This accounts for 19 modern state-of-the-art schools, 11 clinics, roads, libraries, water connections, bucket toilet eradication. That is a record high investment in infrastructure that took place over the past 5 years. 24.7 billion rand. We've opened state-of-the-art schools, modern schools in deep rural areas. Our traditional leaders are here and they can attest to that. We've opened state-of-the-art clinics, modern clinics in deep rural areas. We are building roads in rural areas to ensure that rural communities have got direct access to centers of high economic activity. The Northern Cape economy created 27,000 new jobs and that placed the Northern Cape on the second spot as a province with the lowest unemployment, just with the fourth quarter of last year. Fourth and the third quarter of last year created about 27,000 new jobs. This morning, Honorable Speaker, as we wake up in the Northern Cape and congregating here at Mittah Seperepere, there's 355,000 people in the province who have clocked at workplaces. The highest ever figure of employment in the history of the province, and about 80,000 new jobs from June 2020. Over the past 5 years, we have seen a steady growth of our matric pass rate from 66% in 2020 to 84.19%, and this represents an 18% increase in our grade 12 outcomes. There is no province in this country that have experienced such growth. It's only the Northern Cape province. From a very low base of 66%, our grade 12 results today are standing at 84.19%. When we were 66%, in 2020, the first province was 89%, that was Gauteng. The difference between us and Gauteng was about 26%. Today, the difference between the Northern Cape and province number 1, it's only 7%. We are closing the gap. They're standing at 84 and province number 1 is standing at 91. And we've managed to improve our grade 12 results, both in terms of bachelor passes increase, distinctions increase. So it's both qualitative and quantitative growth that we've experienced over the past 5 years. In 2019, the province started with only 3 clean audits. Today, we are proud to report that out of 13 auditees, the province has recorded 8 clean audits over this period, which is a proof of good governance and accountability. Madam Speaker, we are proud of our past and confident of our future. We are a government that cares and works in service of the people. Madam Speaker, our commitment to turning the capital city, Kimberley, into an attractive focal point of the province remains our top priority. Our interventions are primarily aimed at achieving this goal. You may recall that in the State of the Province address last year, we announced a 2.5 billion budget facility for infrastructure funding for the Solplaatje municipality's bulk water infrastructure refurbishment program. We are pleased to report that work has begun. We officially launched this project last week on Monday. I was joined by the mayor and the speaker of Solplaatje and the municipal managers. They've already appointed contractors there for about 1.2 billion of the work that must take place. With this project, Solplaatje will be turned into a construction site. And I'm happy to also pass my regards to the mayor of Solplaatje who is here, Barbara Bartlett. Wat sê hulle nou in Afrikaans? Hulle sê 'n nuwe besem. Yeah, that kind of like that. Yeah. Honorable Speaker, this is the single biggest investment in bulk water infrastructure in Solplaatje. Once completed, this project will ensure that communities in the municipal area will experience better quality of water and almost no water interruptions. During the implementation phase, the project will create more than 1,000 jobs. Madam Speaker, last year we also announced the 1 billion rand housing project, which is the single biggest investment in human settlements in the province. Through phase 1 of the 1 billion rand project, 2 housing projects are under construction, namely the Lerato Park and Jacksonville right here in Kimberley. A detailed town plan for the remainder of portion 31 of the farm Roodepan number 70, where the project was launched, has been completed. This land portion was purchased for the construction of houses in Roodepan and will yield 400 houses and 6 stands for public amenities and facilities. As part of bringing healthcare services closer to the people, a community health center for Roodepan and Richie are part of our health infrastructure rollout plans. Madam Speaker, another exciting development for Lerato Park is the appointment of service providers for the 491 rectification projects with an investment value of 43 million rand that will be constructed in Lerato Park. Plans are also underway to construct 825 permanent internal services sites and upgrade the informal settlement in Lerato Park. Madam Speaker, the establishment of the Solplaatje University within Kimberley continues to give practical meaning and contribution to our vision of expanding and modernizing the capital city. This has already begun to have a significant impact on the economic prospects and development trajectory of this area. The current pace of infrastructure development of the university is an initiative we should all welcome and embrace. This development will transform Kimberley from a mining city to a university city. And gradually now, in terms of the development trends in Kimberley, it is becoming a university city, like Stellenbosch and like Bloemfontein. Madam Speaker, what is to be done moving forward? Let me share the plans that we have for the people of this province. Our focus will be based on the Freedom Charter, the Constitution, and our 5-year term. We have concluded our 5-year plan, 2024-2029, which is aligned to the national plan. The 5-year plan will guide us into a new phase to build a modern, growing, and successful province. Honorable members, health and education still remain our apex programs. We will vigorously work to improve on the achievements we made in both the health and education sectors. The National Senior Certificate results remain one of the key performance indicators. The incremental improvement in the matric results are due to the intentional investment that this provincial administration has made in the education system. I always make this reflection that in 2019, the budget of the Department of Education was 6.2 billion rand. For this financial year, 2024-2025, the budget of the Department of Education is 8.7 billion rand. We managed to increase the budget of the Department of Education with about 500 million rand each and every financial year. And that's the fastest growing education budget in the whole country, from 6.2 to 8.7 in 5 years. There's no province that has done that. So the results that we see in the education sector, it's not a fluke, it's intentional, deliberate, and it's our strategic intervention to ensure that the child who's coming from a poor family does not get exposed to an inferior quality public education. That's what we've committed ourselves, that we are going to ensure that each and every child in the Northern Cape gets exposed to quality public education, disregarding your background. Madam Speaker, early childhood development is a cornerstone of a thriving society. By nurturing children during the formative years, we set them for a brighter future. To invest in ECD is not just a moral imperative, but it is a strategic decision that yields lifelong benefits for the province. We will therefore introduce new initiatives to professionalize this very important sector in our education system. We are mindful of the challenges that confront the education sector. We continue to work tirelessly to ensure that the education sector functions optimally. Despite the current fiscal challenges, we are committed not to retrench any teachers, which is a clear commitment to the sector. There has been an increase of over 900 teachers over the past 5 years. When we encountered these budgetary constraints, most of the provinces got triggered in a mode of retrenching teachers. We were advised as the province that we must retrench 608 teachers. We took a decision in the Northern Cape that we are not going to retrench any teacher. And I'm standing here delivering the State of the Province address and giving that assurance that despite the budgetary constraints that we are confronted with, to an extent that the Minister of Finance could not deliver the budget speech 2 weeks back, doesn't matter what would come out of the budget speech on the 12th of March, there is no teacher that will be retrenched in the Northern Cape. It is in this spirit that as a province, we welcome as well the Basic Education Laws Amendment Act. This legislation will transform the education sector to improve governance, accountability, and quality of education in general. I was deeply impressed to hear the Minister of Education saying that she's working on the guidelines and regulations for the implementation of BELA, and she is fully in support of BELA. That's what the Minister of Education said. I'm sure Honorable Member Maglua is very excited to hear that as well. He's very happy. Madam Speaker and honorable members, as we strive towards a modern, growing, and successful province, it is important that we engage our university to foster local knowledge creation, innovation, and human capital development for our economic, social, and cultural development. The university is a catalyst to shape our society, foster innovation, drive economic development, and support our participation in the fourth industrial revolution. Supply University remains a strategic partner to advance research and innovation in the province. With 13 nationally accredited researchers, SPU has significantly enhanced the Northern Cape scientific and technological capabilities. The university's world-class library and central auditorium continue to position the province as a hub for knowledge and innovation. We are excited that this year the university had a record enrollment of 7,000 students with a future target of 9,940 students by 2030. This deserves a round of applause. Our university is growing from only 100 learners, from only 100 students 11 years back to 7,000 students today, to about 10,000 students by 2030. For the 2025 academic year, we have close to 300 bursary beneficiaries as the Premier's office at a total cost of about 17 million rand. The bursaries are awarded in line with the Provincial Human Rights Resource Development Plan, which will address the skills mismatch and the shortage in the province. In order to optimally attain to this, our primary focus is on the following fields of studies. It's agriculture, computer sciences, engineering, science, law, commerce, education, fine arts, humanities, and health sciences. We have also pioneered financial support for 15 students in the Access for Success University preparation program in Duin-Indiweg in the Case municipality. This enables disadvantaged learners to pursue studies in science, technology, engineering, and as well as mathematics. Honorable members, on the 14th of March, we will host the Premier's Golf Day 2025. The proceeds of this initiative will be directed towards the Premier's Bursary Fund. We therefore make an appeal to all businesses in the province to support this generous initiative, which gives opportunities to children from poor background. But not only that, the event is a perfect platform for businesses to network here in the province. For this year's event, which will take place on the 14th of March, we are already fully subscribed. And this morning, I got a report from the team that is working on this. We already have 6 million rand in our bank account from the different sponsors. Madam Speaker, we will continue with our work to equip people of our province with the necessary skills to build a capable workforce to drive economic transformation. To achieve these, various skills-driven initiatives are implemented to support the attainment of this goal. During my inaugural address last year, I highlighted the fact that we launched some impressive programs with the Mersita and the Services SITA, and later with UIF at a total cost of 800 million rand to benefit about 26,000 unemployed youth. Just as a recap, Madam Speaker, the Mersita program comprises a skills development and bursary program to the amount of 210 million, benefiting 2,000 unemployed youth. The Services SITA in the province amounts to over 45 million, benefiting 755 young people, and the labor activation program through the UIF fund of the Department of Employment and Labor contributes a total investment of 725 million, benefiting 23,000 unemployed young people in the province. I am pleased to report that we have made significant progress to date. The implementation of these projects started in 2024, and to date we have 403 learners that have enrolled to participate in this skills training initiative. Training of youth will continue with the enrollment of an extra 800 new beneficiaries before the end of June this year. And they will be registered in shielded metal, electrical engineering, transport, chemical engineering, renewable energy, and mechanical workshop assistant. To date, the labor activation program has recruited 11,038 unemployed young people. These young people are currently in training programs and cover sectors such as construction, enterprise development, ICT, agriculture, security, mining, and hospitality over a period of 3 years. Madam Speaker, to ensure that our economy has the requisite skills, we emphasize the increase in production of artisans through our TVET colleges. We have established the Provincial Skills Development Forum to enhance the effectiveness of TVET colleges in the Northern Cape. This forum will align training with labor market needs, fosters public-private partnership for workplace learning, and advocates for increased funding and resource mobilization. Madam Speaker and honorable members, the health sector remains one of the key drivers to reduce morbidity, mortality, poverty, and to ultimately improve the general well-being of the people of the Northern Cape. Over the years, the overall healthcare system in the province is gradually improving. A total of 87% of Northern Cape households continue to use our public health system. It is against this background that we find the recently enacted National Health Insurance Act as a necessary instrument to realize universal access to quality health care. The health profile in the province has gradually improved over the years. Life expectancy for both males and females continue to increase. Specifically, the life expectancy for males rose from 50 years to 59 years, which is roughly to 60 years. That's how long, Honorable Member Cloud, you can expect to live now as a male. In the past, you could only expect to get 50 years. Now your minimum expectation is that you'll get 60 years. That's what this means. And for women, life expectancy increased from 54 to 66. So women live longer than men. So in the past, if you're a woman, your life expectancy is about 54 years. Today, it has increased to 66 years. I see Fufe gets excited when I talk about this. MEC Makato gets extremely excited when I talk about this. So all of these outcomes and all of these indicators are due to the improvement in our public health care. Because 87% of the people of the Northern Cape are using public health care. 87%. Not many of our people are on medical aids. Madam Speaker, we are concerned about the high prevalence of teenage pregnancy in the province. It is for this reason that an interministerial team was established to attend to this challenge. The intervention of the interministerial team resulted in a minimum decrease from 3,817 to 3,538 incidences in 2024. What this means is that in 2024, we had more than 3,500 young people, young girls, below the age of 19 that fell pregnant. More than 3,500. And most of them are at schools. So the parents who are here, they should internalize this. And particularly our men and women in blue. If there's a child that is less than 16 years old who registers at an antenatal clinic with the Department of Health, the impregnator must be arrested. Because that's statutory rape. That is what it is, isn't it? The impregnator must be arrested. As soon as these children get registered, as soon as these children go to an antenatal clinic, and she says, I'm less than 16 years, that means rape took place. That's what it means. So we can't each and every year come here to report about 3,500, 3,800 of children below the ages of 16 have been impregnated, and we don't read in a single newspaper that an impregnator was arrested. Not even a single impregnator gets arrested. So we must start arresting impregnators now. We must start arresting impregnators. We must tell our nurses when a child below 16 come and registers pregnancy for antenatal clinic. The nurse must call the police whilst the child is there. The nurse and the police go to the impregnator who must be arrested right on spot. And I think that's the only way that will assist us to arrest this problem. Madam Speaker, the Northern Cape's economy has experienced notable shifts over the past 5 years, influenced by its reliance on mining, agriculture, and emerging opportunities in renewable energy and infrastructure development. From 2019 to 2024, the provincial GDP grew steadily, rising from 117 billion to 158 billion in 2023. This growth reflects resilience amidst global and domestic challenges, which includes the COVID-19 pandemic and persistent infrastructure challenges. And there's another new pandemic now that will have to countenance as we move forward in the 7th administration. That's the Trump pandemic. According to Stats SA, the mining sector remains the backbone of the Northern Cape's economy, which contributes 17.3% to the provincial GDP in 2023. The fluctuating commodity prices and logistical constraints caused a decline in the mining output in 2022 and 2023. Agriculture also plays a vital role, which contributed over 11 billion rand to the GDP in 2023. This amounts to 7%, supported by high-value crops and initiatives such as the Valhards irrigation scheme. Despite this, employment in agriculture faced a sharp decline of 38.9% between Q2 of 2023 and 2024. This was further exacerbated by climate changes and global market volatility. The tertiary sector accounted for 57% of the provincial GDP in 2023, with trade, finance, and government services leading the way. The construction sector, though facing challenges such as rising costs and project delays, showed optimism with a 23.8% increase in building plans passed in 2024, particularly in urban areas like Kimberley. Madam Speaker, in the Northern Cape, we experienced a positive growth trajectory in Q4 of 2024, increasing from 337,000 people that were employed to 355,000 people that were employed in Q4 of last year. This reflects a 5.2 quarter-to-quarter growth and 8.5 year-on-year increase. This makes the Northern Cape one of the fastest growing provinces in terms of employment percentage change. Madam Speaker, the key industries that contribute to employment gains included the finance sector, which grew from 37,000 jobs to 49,000 jobs in Q4, and the trade sector, which experienced a rise from 54 to 58,000. The mining sector remained stable at 39,000 employed individuals, whilst manufacturing saw an increase from 9,000 to 11,000. I think what we need to do during this term is to have serious engagements with the mining sector on their role and contribution to the economy of the Northern Cape. Just in JTG alone, you've got more than 36 mines, 10 very big mines. And the mining sector, out of the 355,000 people that are employed in the province, accounts for 39,000, only 40,000. And that is all because of modernization that is taking place in the mining sector. we've got smart mines now, robotics that are deployed instead of human beings. And that has got a deleterious impact, both on the host villages and on the economy of the province. With the scale of mining that is taking place in the Northern Cape, we are not even supposed to be sitting with one unemployed person. Northern Cape is one province that is not supposed to have a single unemployed person, with the scale of mining that is taking place in the province. So we need to have a serious engagement with the mining houses to look into this big challenge, difficult to abate high levels of unemployment. Madam Speaker, the province expanded unemployment rate, which include discouraged work seekers, also fell from 43.1% in quarter 3 to 39.7% in quarter 4. This is the highest decrease in expanded unemployment in 6 years. This demonstrates improvement in the labor force absorption. However, the relatively high expanded unemployment rate indicates that a substantial number of individuals remain on the margins of economic activity. Madam Speaker, in line with the country's ambitious national target of creating 2.5 million jobs by 2030, the province committed to contributing its fair share by generating at least 60,000 sustainable jobs within the next 5 years. With the 60,000 jobs, we are likely to reduce official unemployment to levels below 20%. We are now busy developing a Northern Cape 60,000 jobs plan 2025 to 2029. The jobs plan will serve as a roadmap for growth, guided by the principles of innovation, inclusivity, and sustainability. It focuses on unlocking opportunities in priority sectors such as mining, agriculture, renewable energy, manufacturing, tourism, and the oceans economy. Madam Speaker, in line with the Cannabis Master Plan, which guides commercialization of cannabis production in the country, the province has allocated an amount of 12.8 million for the establishment of a hemp nursery and coning center as part of the hemp production project. This project is expected to assist with seedling supply to address hemp seed shortage in the country. As it grows, this project is planned to bring on board 159 farmers with a total of 318 hectares to create jobs. So we are going to grow hemp in the province. And we've already directed resources in order to ensure that happens. I don't know how many of you know what is hemp. Or you don't know. It's good that you don't know. Kima Tokwan. Oh, in Tsango. As part of transforming the agricultural sector, an amount of 924 million was spent in support of emerging black farmers in the past 5 years. The type of support includes infrastructure development for livestock farmers, production input, training and marketing, as well as technical support. Furthermore, Honorable Speaker, through the Provincial Shared Services Centre, we spent an amount of 256 million in 29 projects aimed at supporting emerging black farmers. This means in total, 1.2 billion rand was spent in support of emerging black farmers over the past 5 years. In terms of land redistribution, A total of 4 billion rand has been spent, which involves about 2.3 million hectares of land to about 200,000 beneficiaries. The Expropriation of Land Act, which we support as the province, will facilitate a structured and systematic allocation of land to disadvantaged groupings and individuals. This progressive and transformative piece of legislation will address the gross inequalities of the past. Honorable members, the Northern Cape Industrial Corridor, anchored by the Buchu Bay Port and Rail Development, together with the Buchu Bay Green Hydrogen Development Program, has been identified as game changer and would be a strategic asset. This initiative aligns with the national government 940 billion rand infrastructure rollout plan announced by the President in the State of the Nation address. We will leverage both public and private sector investment to position the province as a key node in the African continent free trade area. I'm sure those who took time to listen to the State of the Nation address, you would recall that the President made specific mention of the Buchu Bay Port and Rail infrastructure and said that's a project that must be implemented during the term of the 7th administration. That project will change the economic landscape of the Northern Cape. The designated Namakwa SEZ, supported by the Katu Industrial Park, will strategically position the Northern Cape as a new growth front for the country. The Namakwa Special Economic Zone is making significant progress and detailed designs for the park infrastructure underway. The infrastructure built will be subjected to a budget facility for infrastructure application to the National Treasury in the next 12 months. Construction on our SEZ is set to begin in 2027, making a key milestone in the region's economic development. The SEZ is expected to create 2,000 jobs in its initial phase, with an employment rising to 9,000 during the peak construction and operation. Honorable members, our focus is to ensure that the mining sector remains competitive, sustainable, and integrated into the green economy. The Northern Cape will actively support the Energy Action Plan by fostering an ecosystem where electron-based renewable power and green hydrogen industries thrive. Through alignment of the Northern Cape's infrastructure and industrial development strategy with the national agenda, the province will be better positioned to be the leader in green energy transition and regional trade integration. The recent proclamation of Taiwan for Port Norloth and Tai 2 harbors for Wonderklip and Kleinzee on our coastline marks a significant step in unlocking the province's fisheries and aquaculture potential, driving local economic growth and job creation in the coastal communities. Honorable members and esteemed guests, the Upington International Airport presents a major opportunity to enhance our connectivity and trade logistics. We are in discussions with airport company South Africa, AXA, to maximize the airport's potential. This will ensure that the Northern Cape is accessible by sea, air, and land. This will open new pathways for international market access. AXA has made a commitment to develop the aviation park, as well as maintenance, repair, and overall upgrade of the old aircraft. What this means is that the Upington International Airport will see a serious facelift that will take place over the next 3 years. Madam Speaker, our export promotion efforts have been further strengthened through a memorandum of understanding with Raisin South Africa. This partnership aims to increase export value by 55% to to reach new levels of 1.8 billion by 2030. We have also supported SMME participation in international trade exhibition, enhancing their market access and expanding global presence. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at an advanced stage with the development of a provincial strategy for mining and mineral value chain. Added to this, we have also initiated a process to identify critical minerals with a high probability for local beneficiation. And currently, we have commissioned a pre-feasibility study for granite beneficiation in the province. Madam Speaker, Eskom is a major player in achieving these outcomes. I am therefore pleased to inform this House that this period would be marked by a major infrastructure investment by Eskom in the Northern Cape. The 3 Capes regions will contribute 37 gigawatt of the national 38 gigawatt renewable target. And this will be supported by the construction of 24 new substations, 53 additional transformers, 7 synchronous condensers, 3,655 kilometers of transmission lines, and 6,850 kilometers of 765 kV transmission lines. These investments will be crucial to unlock renewable energy potential and strengthen South Africa's power grid. As soon as Eskom is finished with all of these projects, it will give Northern Cape an opportunity to unleash our renewable energy capacity to the whole country. In actual fact, the permanent solution to load shedding is the Northern Cape renewable energy. Madam Speaker, improved road infrastructure in our province is priority. We are extremely excited by the development around the provincialization of SANRAL. This development will see total investment of 7.2 billion in road infrastructure projects over the next 3 years. Through years of engagements with SANRAL by the 6th administration, SANRAL will open their provincial offices here in Kimberley from the 1st of April 2025. And the provincial manager for Northern Cape has already been appointed. His name is Emil. Is Emil here? Is Emil here? He's not here. But the provincial manager, staff allocation, all of that, office space have been sorted out. So on the 1st of April, about 2 weeks from now, we'll be opening a SANRAL office right here in the Northern Cape. We won't be served by other provinces. With regard to SIU, we were served by the Eastern Cape and Free State. Now, Special Investigating Unit has got their offices here in the province. And they are running after thieves. They are not giving them time to rest. They are running after them. As the 6th administration, we came here and we told you this thing that we are served by SANRAL from the Western Cape will come to an end. SANRAL is now opening offices right here in the Northern Cape. And over the next 5 years, they will have about 14 billion rand massive rollout of road infrastructure. Those contract opportunities must be directed to small contractors and big contractors of the Northern Cape, in order for us to grow our economy here in the province. It should be noted that since the advent of the 6th administration, we have allocated 25 billion rand to infrastructure as the province, which includes clinics, schools, libraries, roads, and human settlement. This massive investment in social and economic infrastructure in the province has led to growth in the economy and the creation of the much-needed job opportunities. In addition to our rollout of infrastructure program is the construction of the much needed houses through the 1 billion rand housing project that we launched last year to build 4,143 houses. This project will be expedited. The initial phase of the project will yield 2,500 houses throughout all 5 districts in the province has commenced. The second phase of the project will commence as soon as the initial phase of the project has been completed. The final phase of the project will see 1,643 houses at a total value of 400 million rand. Madam Speaker, through our partnerships with Vendetta Zinc International, an oncology treatment facility will be established in Springbok in the Namakwa district to the value of 22 million. The project is expected to be completed now in December. Honorable members, the Department of Water and Sanitation is in discussion with Namibia over improving the yield of the Orange River. We know the Orange River is the biggest river that we have here in the Northern Cape. The construction of a dam in the lower Orange River near Fjoldsdrift has been identified in joint planning studies conducted with Namibia as the most viable alternative to increase the available water yield from the Orange River. The site lies on the common border between South Africa and Namibia and is envisaged as a joint development that would serve the projected needs of both countries. The estimated completion date for this project is 2030 financial year. Honorable members, thus far, we have successfully completed the 1.7 billion rand first phase of the Valga-Magara water supply scheme. Through this phase, about 6,000 water users are now assured of reliable water supply into the future. The main water users in the area include the various mines, municipalities, agricultural sector, and Transnet. We continue to support and commend the public-private partnership between Vaal Central Water Board, the Mining Leadership Forum, and the Department of Water and Sanitation to commence the 10 billion rand, which is second phase of the Valga-Magara water supply scheme. When the second phase of this project is completed, more than 200 villages in John Taulo Khaitsi will have access to better quality and reliable supply of water. In addition to this, over the next 5 years, a total investment of 5.5 billion will be allocated to municipalities for water and sanitation projects through the infrastructure grant. But I think one of the issues that we need to reflect on is to increase the capacity of our municipalities to spend monies allocated to them for infrastructure grants. We can't, with the extent and the levels of poverty and the crumbling infrastructure, aged infrastructure that we have in the Northern Cape, have municipalities that return money to National Treasury for infrastructure that they could not spend. That is an indictment on all of us. It's an indictment on all of us that municipalities, where they are sitting with major infrastructure challenges, the infrastructure is collapsing, is aged, is not optimally functioning, but municipalities are returning money to National Treasury because they could not spend the money meant to improve infrastructure. And in most cases, these problems are generated in procurement. Most of these problems are in procurement, where municipalities don't appoint service providers because of the internal battles on who should get the contract. And because of those battles, the community is left without services. So we should agree as the provincial government and the provincial legislature to introduce measures to ensure municipalities spend what is meant for infrastructure development. And if it's not spent, there should be consequences for that. If it's not spent, there should be consequences for that. Even this financial year, we'll be returning millions to provincial treasury in the midst of the poverty and the high levels of unemployment that we are experiencing. Madam Speaker and honorable members, with all of these infrastructure development interventions, we are in a process to finalize our provincial infrastructure master plan 2040. This plan will serve as a strategic blueprint to direct infrastructure development in the Northern Cape through the identification of key priorities, streamlining resource allocations, and fostering intergovernmental collaboration. Central to the effective execution of this master plan is the infrastructure development monitoring tool. This is a critical mechanism designed for real-time tracking down of progress in the implementation of infrastructure projects across the province. Madam Speaker, over the past 5 years, the province created 95,689 job opportunities as part of the expanded public works program, phase 4. The EPWP is comprised of 3 areas, namely infrastructure, social environment, and cultural, and municipalities. 5% of all EPWP projects include a training component which is related to the nature of the project. The EPWP is currently in phase 5 of its implementation, and over the next 5 years, we pledge to create 112,000 work opportunities in the EPWP sector. The Community Works Program currently provides 18,468 jobs opportunities for vulnerable target groups, which include youth, women, and persons with disabilities. The CWP is operational in all 26 local municipalities. We need to strengthen the management of the EPWP programs and the CWP programs. Some of the people who are beneficiaries of these programs, they make these programs look very bad. They arrive at work in the morning, sleep under the tree for the whole day. It's not an unusual sight to see EPWP workers congregating under the tree and all of them are sleeping there for the whole day. You drive past them in the morning, and when you drive back home, you pass them under the same tree. And we need to strengthen management of EPWP so that when people exit this program, they've got skills in their hands. And that's what the MEC have sincerely started to do. Last year, we had the graduation of EPWP workers. And we had about 30 of them who graduated in diesel mechanics. And each and every one of the 30, they were taken by the mines. All 30 of them. Graduated in diesel mechanics. And I asked them, but what are you doing? I'm working in this mine. And all 30 of them got employment in the mines. So there are tangible and concrete results and outcomes that we can actually get out of the EPWP program. Honorable members, through the insourcing of security officers, we have created additional jobs, subsequently reducing the unemployment figures in our province. Over the next 3 years, an additional 2,000 security officials will be insourced, creating the much-needed, reliable jobs for the people of the Northern Cape. This function is managed by the Department of Transport, Safety and Liaison. And as we started here, we've got about some of our security officials who are here. They are not security guards. They are security officials. That's the title of their employment. It's security officials, not guards. So guards are people who are working from a guardhouse. They are not working from a guardhouse. They are working from departments. And they are offering frontline services. That's what they are doing. Honorable members, through the insourcing of security officers, we have created additional jobs. I've already mentioned that. Honorable members and people of the Northern Cape, the rationalization of our economic development institutions marks a significant step towards a more efficient and investor-ready province. The integration of Mittah and NCTA is not merely a consolidation, but a strategic move to create a powerful economic engine that drives tourism, trade, and catalytic projects whilst unlocking investment opportunities. With a newly appointed board, the governance of Mittah is strengthened. Key milestones have already been achieved, including the alignment of financial systems, payroll systems, and adoption of shared office spaces. Madam Speaker, the Sixth Administration placed a strong emphasis on good governance. The Clean Audit Initiative was resuscitated with the primary objective of improving accountability ecosystem in the province. We agree with the President, as he stated in SONA, that a capable state must start where people live and work. The challenges in our municipalities relate to good governance practices, lacking technical skills and resources, aligning and aging infrastructure, and poor maintenance. Our main focus is therefore to continue building capable local government. It is important for us to consistently implement transparent and merit-based recruitment for senior management roles to ensure a professional local municipalities. It is encouraging to know that all 5 district development models plans have been reviewed. Honorable members, the role of traditional leaders does not exist in isolation. It is complementary to the broader governance structure of our province. In partnership with local and provincial government, traditional leaders ensure the voices of rural and marginalized communities are heard and represented. To further enhance the role of traditional leadership, we decided last year to grant proper recognition to our traditional leaders. This resulted in us elevating all 8 Dikhosi from senior traditional leaders to principal traditional leaders, and elevating all headmen to senior traditional leaders. We are heartened by the progress in the fight against crime. The statistics over the past 3 quarters show that the province is on a downward trend compared to the same period a year ago. Whilst there has been a slight 2% decline in reported rape cases, with 321 incidences recorded, this figure remains far too high. A closer examination of data that more than 58 of these cases were linked to domestic violence, and an overwhelming majority of rape incidences occurred within residences, where those of the victims or the perpetrator. What this means is that the streets of the Northern Cape are safer than the homes of the victims. For women in the Northern Cape now, it's better to be in the streets even 12 o'clock midnight than to be at home. Because most of the rapes are taking place at the victim's home. People are getting raped at home, where it's supposed to be the safest place. Most of our people are getting raped at home than to be raped in the streets by people they know. It's your father, it's your uncle, it's your husband. It's people who are close to the victims who are raping them. So it's much safer in the streets here than to be at home. And we'll have to develop a strategy in order to ensure that we address that problem. Madam Speaker, the relationship between gender-based violence and femicide and women empowerment is cyclical and interdependent. In our effort to address gender-based violence, it is important to achieve women economic empowerment. Our commitment to inclusive economic growth in the province requires us to harness every avenue to ensure that public procurement uplifts all sectors of society, and particularly women, youth, and people living with disabilities. During the sixth administration, our public procurement spend within the province stands at 38%. To date, 5.3 billion was spent on women-owned businesses. Over the past 5 years, we spent 5.3 billion on woman-owned enterprises, woman-owned businesses. But the problem with this is that women are not really engaged in business, but they are selling their names. They are selling their names, yes. It's not your business, it's a business of a man. You are just using your details as a woman in order to be affirmed. And we need to investigate that, because that is not true women empowerment that we want to see. Honorable Speaker, to strengthen our effort to fight against gender-based violence and domestic violence, the National Prosecuting Authority has established 5 community prosecution sites in Galeshiwe, the R, Uppington, and Kimberley. The goal is to create proactive partnerships between the community, law enforcement, prosecution, and public and private enterprises. Madam Speaker, honorable members, ladies and gentlemen, through innovation such as mobile connectivity, solar power, digital education, technology, we can provide rural communities with better access to healthcare, education, and economic opportunities. For instance, the telemedicine can remotely connect patients with doctors, reducing the need for long travel distances. Similarly, online learning platforms can offer quality education to students regardless of their location. By harnessing these technologies, rural areas can experience significant improvements in quality of life, economic development, and social inclusion. We have approved the establishment of the Provincial Information Technology Shared Services Centre as a mechanism to deploy the expertise required and to implement technologies for digital transformation to improve service delivery. In the new financial year, we will expand these systems to all departments within the Northern Cape Provincial Government. This will support a fully digitized government that is better equipped to provide efficient services to our citizens. The piloting of coding and robotics at 173 schools was concluded in 2024. Full implementation of coding and robotics in grade R to grade 3 will take place in 2026. During the 2025 academic year, we will prepare all teachers and schools for full implementation in grade 3 in grade R to grade 3. Madam Speaker, through focused partnership Efforts in key areas such as education and health, we have, together with our cellular network providers such as Vodacom, MTN, and Telkom, expanded our digital footprint. Additionally, the investment in broadband and base station infrastructure by our operators, Vodacom, Telkom, and MTN, stands at well over 1 billion rand. In the realm of digital connectivity, the South Africa Connect initiative continued to make major strides under Phase 2. To date, 112 additional sites have been installed through the support of USASA, and 83 of these sites are now Wi-Fi enabled. This means that surrounding communities can now access much needed internet connectivity, empowering them with opportunities for education, entrepreneurship, and access to critical services. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great enthusiasm that I also update you on the progress of the transformative Square Kilometre Array initiative, which is instrumental in advancing our technological capabilities and bringing the digital divide in our country. The implementation of SKA projects has gained momentum, with a significant milestone already achieved. The first SKA dish has been successfully synchronized with the Meerkat array, marking a major step forward in South Africa's contribution to global scientific innovation. We are set to implement our additional SKA dishes in 2025-26 financial year in our quest to further enhance our capacity in radio astronomy and deep space exploration. In the next 4 years, government will spend 4.5 billion rand to deliver the SKA construction commitment. The construction of the planned visitor center in Carnarvon, which amounts to 142 million rand, will commence now in June this year. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, I would like to emphasize the importance of working together for the people of the Northern Cape. Our focus should not only be on the monetary project, but also on our people who need to drive and benefit from these development initiatives. Madam Speaker, no conclusion would be complete if I did not offer my deep sense of gratitude to my political home, the African National Congress, which shaped and nurtured my political outlook. I would also like to thank all the people of the Northern Cape for their ongoing encouragement and trust in this provincial government, which I have the good fortune to lead. To my colleagues, the members of the Executive Council and members of the provincial legislature, let us continue serving the people of the Northern Cape, irrespective of race, color, and political affiliation. Lastly, I would like to express my eternal thanks to my mother, she's here again, and my siblings for their support over the years. Bravo to my wife and children for their unending and unwavering support. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Premier, for addressing this House. Honorable members and guests, the State of the Province address will be debated and replied to by the Honorable Premier on the 11th and 12th of March 2025, respectively at 10 o'clock at the Legislature Chamber. We are inviting all members to tune in into the different radio stations in our province, as well as our social media platforms, to be part of this, the debate as well as the reply by the Honorable Premier. Honorable members and all our guests, let me take this opportunity to thank you. Thank you very much for attending this occasion. Thank you very much, honorable members, for your attendance, as well as our members from the National Council of Provinces, as well as our National Assembly members. Honorable members of the legislature, including our NCOP members and members of the National Assembly, please be informed that there will be a photo shoot after the session. You will be, one of our staff members will allocate the designated area. Honorable members and all our guests, soon after the photo shoot will follow, that includes then also, as I've said, the members, permanent delegates of the NCOP. I want to request that all our guests remain seated whilst the procession will leave the chamber. Honorable members, this brings us then to the end of our house sitting, our session for today. The sitting then stands to adjourn. Thank you.
As the procession is now leaving, all members of the legislature, members of the Executive Council, NCOP delegates and members of the National Assembly are invited to go and take the official photo shoot. Colleagues from protocol will guide them.